Big news for Kombat Pack 2 has just dropped, so of course we gotta talk about it. Plus, let's discuss the overall reception for this DLC pack. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, so let's talk about it. Because another day means more Mortal Kombat 1 news. I'm covering it all the time on this channel, so if you want to stay up to date, then make sure to subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss any future videos. And then after watching, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like down below, it helps the channel out a ton. And without any further ado, let's begin after a quick announcement. Today's video is sponsored by Dream. What's up gamers? You ever have trouble falling asleep? Guess what? Me too, because I stare at computer screens all day, which is proven to keep you awake, and to make things worse, I love gaming past midnight, which also doesn't help. But thankfully, Dream is here to save the day. Dream is an indulgent, hot chocolate tasting powder with sleep supportive ingredients. Dream helps you fall asleep quickly, stay asleep longer, and wake up feeling refreshed without any grogginess. And that's a big deal because better sleep is proven to reduce stress, anxiety, and all those annoying things that get in the way of a healthy day. Not to mention your energy is better and you feel more focused throughout the day as well, all thanks to Dream and its amazing sleep benefits. Keep in mind, Dream has already been clinically proven to work. And for me personally, I tried a bunch of different sleep aids in the past, but nothing was really working until Dream, which is crazy because I thought I would never find a solution, but Dream actually works for me. And I bet it could work for you too, so what are you waiting for? Try out Dream today. Just go to shopbeam.com/trueunderdog or use code TrueUnderdog at checkout and you'll get up to 35% off your order. As you can see, there's never been a better time to try Dream, and you should never miss out on good quality sleep, so try them out today. Alright, and back to the video. Big news for Kombat Pack 2, including some not so great news, because even though Ghostface and the T-1000 are being voiced by the actors themselves, that's not going to be the case for Conan the Barbarian. That's right, very similar to Mortal Kombat 11, Arnold himself is not going to be voicing the character, even though he played them in the actual film that's being referenced in this game. In other words, Arnold played Conan the Barbarian many decades ago in the 80s, but sadly, he's not going to be voice acting the character. And if you don't believe me, you can check out comicbook.com because recently they interviewed Ed Boon, that's right, the co-creator of Mortal Kombat himself, and the big man himself had this to say. Let's have a listen.
Ghostface from Scream and T-1000,
yeah.
and Robert Patrick is actually going to voice T-1000, right?
He is.
Now, does that mean that Arnold's going to voice Conan?
I don't know yet. We couldn't get him to do Terminator.
Yeah, no.
So and that was always a challenge. But you know, there's so many variables, and we're in constant discussions with them about, you know, can we do this? Can we meet him here?
Right.
You know, because it's a good amount of lines that you have to record. So you know, fingers crossed.
As you can see, so far NetherRealm has not been able to lock down Arnold as a voice actor. If you're wondering why I'm not saying his last name, it's because YouTube always misinterprets what I'm saying into a bad word that nobody should ever say. But I digress. The point is, it's very unlikely that Arnold is going to return and voice act his own character, although many of you watching might have your fingers crossed and say there's still time, which definitely is true. However, keep in mind that Ed Boon and NetherRealm have already locked in all of the other voice actors, so the main voice of Ghostface, he is back. The actor that portrayed that character in the first Scream movie is going to be voicing the character in Mortal Kombat 1, and the same is true for the T-1000. That guest character is also going to be voiced by the main actor himself that played him in Terminator 2. Or in other words, every other actor is already on board and ready to voice their character except for Arnold, which is unfortunate, but that likely means Chris Cox is finally going to get to do some voice acting in Mortal Kombat 1. For anyone not aware, he voiced Terminator in Mortal Kombat 11 instead of Arnold, because even back in that game, the famous big shot actor celebrity did not feel like voicing his own character. Now, this definitely could be a money issue. In fact, I think that's what most people are going to believe, and that's definitely a possibility, but keep in mind that Sylvester Stallone had no problem voicing Rambo, and I imagine he's also quite expensive. Maybe not quite as pricey as Arnold, but he's gotta be expensive, and he returned to voice his character. And bravo, by the way, he did a fantastic job voicing Rambo in Mortal Kombat 11. To this day, I'm honestly quite impressed at how good he did, because he's not a voice actor, he's a regular actor, and yet even so, he did a great job. Take that, Megan Fox. Maybe it is true that Arnold is simply too expensive for NetherRealm and WB, because keep in mind, Warner Brothers did just have a merger. They are now known as Warner Discovery, and the money might be a little bit tight right now, so maybe that's why we're not getting Arnold, or it could be a different reason. For example, I've heard that video game voice acting is not fun at all. In fact, many voice actors admit it's notoriously unfun to record lines for video games. And it could be that Arnold himself knows that too and is like, no thanks fam, I'll pass, just have Chris Cox do it again. No matter what the case may be, it definitely is a bummer for a second character played by Arnold to not be voiced by him. I thought for sure when they revealed Conan the Barbarian that Warner Brothers did that specifically to let Arnold finally voice a character in a Mortal Kombat game, but sadly, it looks like that's not going to be the case. Which once again is a bummer, but you know what? Fingers crossed, because Ed Boon himself did not decline Arnold being the voice actor. He just said they haven't gotten a hold of him yet, which means they could still be trying, and maybe, just maybe, Arnold will finally voice a Mortal Kombat guest character in Mortal Kombat 1. But as you all know, I love making these videos interactive, so let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think it's possible that Arnold will come back and voice lines for Conan the Barbarian, or is he gonna sit this one out? And if so, what do you think is the reason why? Is it a money issue, or does Arnold just not want to do any voice acting because he's so old? And many voice actors have confessed that voicing lines for video games is not very much fun at all, so maybe this big shot Hollywood celebrity just doesn't want to go through the hassle. Like I say in all my videos, I truly do read each and every comment, so grab that keyboard and make your voices heard. Because next up, it's time for topic number 2, the overall reception of Kombat Pack 2, otherwise known as the Chaos Reigns DLC. Some players are very excited about this Kombat Pack 2, while others are very disappointed and even a little bit angry at the character lineup. Because even though everybody loves Sector, Cyrax, and Noob Saibot, these characters have been changed in a very big way, some more so than others, because after all, it is the new era, and NetherRealm just can't help themselves. They had to change a bunch of stuff, including the gender of Sector and Cyrax, which for me, not a huge deal personally because I'm a gameplay guy first, but even so, I can understand that if you're a big fan of these characters, you don't want to see them changed in such a big way. For example, I'm a big fan of Spider-Man, so if you introduce new Spider-Man characters, I don't really mind, but if you touch my boy Peter and change him in some big drastic way, yeah, I'm gonna be upset because Peter Parker is Peter Parker and he's been that way for decades. Why are you changing him now? It's usually not a good idea to take established characters that have big fan bases and followings and then change those characters for no real reason whatsoever. And then on top of that, it definitely can feel like there's an agenda behind all of this, right? It might not be a creativity thing, but more so that NetherRealm is getting in line with everybody else in Hollywood and they're told to just make the character a lady, make them lame, and well, you know the joke. I don't want to repeat it, it's a wholesome channel, but you get where I'm going with this. Some people definitely think that NetherRealm is changing these characters for a very specific reason, and that reason is not for the existing fan base, and that can definitely feel like a betrayal. For me personally, I really do wonder why NetherRealm is not just making new characters instead of changing the fan favorite characters. If you want to have some lady cyborgs, you can absolutely do that. You can even make them look like Sector and Cyrax, but just make them their apprentice or something cool like that. If you want lady cyborgs in the game, there's ways to do that without having to drastically change the characters. It would be like making Frost a dude. Like, why would you make Frost a dude? I like Frost because she's a lady Sub-Zero. They made her a cyborg in Mortal Kombat 11, but that was okay because she was so similar to Sub-Zero, and therefore making her a cyborg gave her a bit more of an identity of her own. But when it comes to Sector and Cyrax, making them into ladies accomplishes pretty much nothing unless you add the swimsuit DLC like Tekken 8 just did. If you do that, then I'm okay with it. I'm just kidding, but the point is the reception to Kombat Pack 2, the Chaos Reigns DLC, has been a very mixed bag. Some people like me are just happy for the gameplay. Sector and Cyrax, I love how they play. I want their gameplay in Mortal Kombat 1. But then for other players, this reveal was a big letdown because their favorite characters have been changed in some pretty drastic ways, and at the end of the day, nobody really asked for that. But next up, let's talk about the guest characters. I've seen some people like the Island Boys explain that this DLC pack feels a bit weird because there's no real overall theme. With Mortal Kombat X, there is a horror theme, and with Season 1 of Mortal Kombat 1, it was superhero themed, so that made sense too. But for this new Kombat pack, it feels a bit all over the place. You have a horror character, an 80s action movie character, and a 90s action movie character. How does this all fit together cohesively? At a first first glance, it really doesn't. Instead, it kinda looks random, as if WB and NetherRealm were digging through the cupboard just looking for any IPs and properties they owned, and we're like, yeah, what do we got? T1000, people kinda want him. Who else we got? Conan the Barbarian, let's put him in. Many players feel like that's the case, and I understand that perspective. However, I think that Kombat Pack 2 and Mortal Kombat 1 is meant to reference every past theme from the other Mortal Kombat games. So for example, Mortal Kombat X was horror themed. Well, that's why we have Ghostface. He's a reference to that theme from Mortal Kombat X. And then for Mortal Kombat 11, we had the 90s action hero theme, which is in Kombat Pack 2 as well. That's who the T1000 is. He's the 90s action movie hero to reference Mortal Kombat 11. And then for Conan, he's the 80s action movie hero, just like Rambo and RoboCop were in Mortal Kombat 11, and also Conan's a comic book character, so in a way he also references the season 1 of Mortal Kombat 1. So when you factor all these details together, it seems like the theme of Kombat Pack 2 is to combine all the themes from the past Mortal Kombat games. And even though I've said this in many videos before, I'm gonna repeat it for anybody who might be new to this channel. I will always prefer a Mortal Kombat character over a guest character every single time. That said, I don't hate the guest characters, they're completely fine. However, even so, I would prefer 6 Mortal Kombat characters over 3 guest characters and 3 Mortal Kombat characters. But one last time everybody, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below, it helps the channel out a ton. And then finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.